What's going on, guys? Cliffy here today, taking on the Brisbane Roar at Suncorp, and it's been a pretty good spell for the Phoenix so far. Even though we haven't really, there was a while that we struggled to score. We'll get there in the end. Struggled to score. I'm struggling with my words this morning, but struggled to score. We weren't conceding, which is always a good positive. Bolivasia tries to wrap that one in around the corner, but no luck whatsoever. But yeah, not scoring, not conceding, so not the end of the world. Picking up points, obviously, and we have managed to go and find ourselves back in second place. Victory is still a mile ahead of us. I think they've either played one game more or one game less, and I think they're about 13 points ahead of us, so just absolutely killing it at the moment. And they are really going to be tough to catch. So probably finishing as the minor premier is probably not going to be, it's probably not going to be the easiest thing in the world. Probably not going to happen, to be honest. Probably a wee bit unrealistic. Sarpong, beautiful feet. That might just be a little... No. Bolivasia gets there. What a game he had a couple of weeks ago. Against Adelaide. He was absolutely outstanding that game. Bagged a brace, scored an absolute screamer from a long way out. I think I talked about it possibly in last week's episode, but that is another story. Well, that was obviously last week's story. Wow, the Raw have the worst home record. 7 games. That's quite cool. I've never seen that in FIFA 16. 7 games, 1 win, 1 draw, and 5 losses. We are the best defensive team in the league. 15 matches played, only 7 goals against. That's what I'm talking about. We really build, I guess this Phoenix side, really build on defence. I mean, a lot of the times we won't win games by much. We'll win games 1-0. And that is probably down to the fact that our side is just so defensively solid. Like, I don't mind the opposition side passing the ball around in this area here. And that's what they do quite a lot of the time. That is cynical, ref. That is almost... You've got to give him at least a yellow card for that, ref. At least a yellow card. That is just absolutely disgusting. Nothing. That was a disgusting tackle. It was at least a yellow. It looked like it was studs up, 2-footed. Just get him off. Just send him off. That's what we need to do. But, yeah, Raw, as I said, they are struggling. Oh, goodness. Get up, Mossy. Struggling this season. I'm not too sure why, but things just aren't really going their way. Great run from McGlinchey. Oh, he's still going. What a run. Bolivasia. I tried to emulate that long-range goal that he scored, obviously, a couple of weeks ago. Didn't quite work for me. But, I can't remember what I was saying just before. Yeah, Raw, they seem to be struggling. I think they're outside the top 6, which is very unusual for the Raw. They're always a side that, you can almost guarantee on being inside the top 6. They just seem to, I don't know, they've just bred success well. They're not as good, obviously, as they used to be. I think, the Raw side that they had probably 2, 3, maybe even 4 years ago, the one that had that massive undefeated streak, and I think they went back-to-back in the league, like, just incredible. Like, just they just went through a stage where, it's almost like they forgot how to lose. That's a good hit. I think that was Solozano. And a good save from Glenn Moss. So he's been kept busy in this first half, which is good. And we haven't really created too many opportunities. We've had a couple, but we really need to go and try and exploit the wings, which is where our strengths are. Maybe not so much today. No. Roy Krishna playing today, so we've had to have a wee bit of a reshuffle around. No Louis Fenton either. Tom Doyle playing at right back because he has impressed me so far this season. So hopefully, it's a bit hard to drop Manny Muscat, but I might even possibly look at moving him back into a midfield role and playing Doyle on that left wing, because it would be nice to play both Doyle and Louis Fenton on both wings. Both young, both quick guys that are going to get up, support the attack. Damn it, I should have gone. I was going to say I should have gone up. There's so much space for Sarpong on that far side. And now McGlinchey's probably going to get chased down. 3 defenders around him. That's what I was looking for. The man I was just talking about, Tommy Doyle. Oof, not a bad hit. On his favoured left side. but just smashed it, connected with it really well. And we head into the break 0-0 against the Raw. It's been a pretty good first half, pretty open, I must say. Just that one foul from memory and a couple of good shots at either end. So, oh, you can't actually see the match stats. I was going to say we'll have a look at the match stats at half time, but we can't quite manage to go and do that. Now that the first half has gone and done, I don't really have too much to talk about for this episode. I have obviously gone and said about how the Raw are doing, how we've been doing. Oh, Rodriguez. Poor Rodriguez. Put those away. And it is a transfer window as well. That's the other thing I was going to go and get towards. I have made a few approaches to a few players. There's a couple of Canadians that I'm actually looking to sign. One of them is a centre-back, because that's an area that definitely needs, I wouldn't say improvement, but definitely needs a bit more depth, because realistically, this side only has Dorente and Sigmund, who are specialised centre-backs. So if one of them goes down, like they did earlier in the season, it can put us in a little bit of trouble. Just because, we have to play someone out of position. I think when Sigmund got injured, I did play Manny Muscat there, which isn't too much, of an issue. He's played a lot of his career at CDM. I think he's even played some of his career at centre-back as well. So he has the skill set to play there, so it's not the end of the world, but it would be nice to keep him, on the flanks, because that's where he is. I guess that's his preferred position, is in the wide fullback roles. So McGlinchey is just getting taken down today. That's the second quite nasty foul that he's had against him. I don't know who they're bringing off. Enrique. Enrique actually scored last night. I don't know if it was the last gasp goal, but he scored 2 goals now in 2 games, I think, for the Raw, and has really brought them back. I know they drew 1-1 with Melbourne City last night, thanks to that Enrique late goal, and I think he may have provided the winner in last week's game. But don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. So yeah, we've got a centre-back that we're looking at, Canadian centre-back, and a Canadian goalkeeper as well, because I just sent one of my young guys, not Italiano, the other goalkeeper. He's gone away on a year-long loan, because let's face it, he's not going to get any game time. Glenn Moss, obviously, is always going to start. And then Italiano, I mean, I've used him for a couple of games this season. He is solid, but only 55 overall. So if something did happen, again, it just shows that lack of depth. If something did happen to Glenn Moss and we were required to use someone else, Italiano, or our other goalkeeper who now is out on loan, for a sustained period of time, I think we would struggle. Just because, not the greatest in the world, 55 and 54 overall, respectively, is never really going to work too well for you. Riera, he doesn't score many, but he almost put one into the back of the net. Great save by Michael Theo. So we've got him. Goalkeeper we're looking at as well, another Canadian goalkeeper, free agents, both of them. And he's, again, probably not going to push Moss out of a starting position, but it would be good to have him there. I think he's about 61, 62 overall. So, he can play the odd game. When Moss is away on international duty as well, we are going to have someone who can cover for him there. I don't know what Alex Rufer and I think that's Dorente were doing down on the ground. Not sure. We won't comment on that. We'll get that. Oh, man, Michael Theo, he's been outstanding this game. Both goalkeepers have been very good. Glenn Moss has only really had like that one save that he needed to make, that one good save. But he obviously made it, and I'm so relieved to score that goal. Like, I honestly thought this was going to be one of those games where we just did not score. Michael Theo playing outstandingly. He's made 3 or 4 excellent saves. Rodriguez finally goes and puts one away. That's actually his 6th goal this season. I think he may possibly be close to our top scorer, which is crazy for a guy who's playing, I wouldn't say in a deep midfield role, but he's not really playing in an advanced role. He's more there, I guess he's a box-to-box midfielder, you would say. McGlinchey has been making problems up front all game today. He has been... Oh, that's not where I wanted it. I wanted to go to Sarpong. I just didn't have enough on it. I thought I had enough. So those are the 2 players that I'm looking at. I have actually signed a striker as well when he... Oh, that should have been 1-1. McLaren, what are you doing? How did you miss that? But I have signed a striker on kind of like a tentative deal, you would say. He's only got 6 months remaining in his contract, so we can obviously go and approach him. I think he's a Spaniard. Name is Sol, I think. Franco Sol. Rodriguez almost had a double. Again, another great save from Michael Theo. He has been outstanding. So yeah, a few new players that we could potentially see in the coming episodes. But if you guys think there is anyone else that I should sign, do drop their names down below in the comment section. I'll look them up. I don't have too many transfer funds, so that is the only real limitation that we do have. Do hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you have, please remember to leave a like. If you are new, please do subscribe. Make sure you check out my Facebook and Twitter. Links that can be found down below in the description. Hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend so far. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Don Bradman Cricket, batting career mode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.